Hey, what's up guys, Sean here. So we just got hit with a torrential downpour. It hit hard and fast. And it got me thinking about why it's so important to make sure that your gear is set up for the next time you're going to use it. So when you pack your gear away, it should be packed up ready for the next time you're going to have to use it. So it's still raining a little bit, not bad, but we still have a big front coming. But I want to go out here real quick, take my hammock, and see how fast I can get that thing set up and get dried in and have a place to get out of the weather with the storm bearing down on you. Let's go check it out. So we're headed out here on my property, back to what has become my little testing grounds, my primitive camp area. It is starting to get heavier. I didn't even bring a pack, I just brought my hammock. Let's get set up, see how fast we can do this. All right, somebody start the clock. First thing we have in here is the tarp, and that's going to make a big difference. I have these little clips, are nice. Grab a few steaks. Tie-outs are already on here. Call that for time. Now, that was not super fast, I know, but like I said, I didn't have anything prepped as far as length of cordage, all that stuff. This is just a fly by the seat of my pants thing. Now, I am dried in here. I've got the tarp up. I can work in a dry area now. I can go ahead and set my hammock up. I should be all good. Let's go ahead and get that thing set up. See if the storm does anything. Now, I did get my hammock bag wet. We'll just have to see if that translates into a wet hammock. Alright, we're looking pretty good. The hammock is not wet in any place. I think that's a win. Now, one of the other reasons I wanted to test this out is because inevitably you're going to be out somewhere sometime when a storm blows up on you. And you need to know and be confident that you can get your shelter set up quickly. And if it had been a torrential downpour, my butt would have probably been pretty wet. So I know that I need to speed up that process a little bit. But all in all, I'm still pretty happy. The other thing is, I have not rain tested this hammock setup yet. And this is a good chance to try it out. So we've got another bigger storm that's going to be blowing in here. And I want to check this thing out and just see how it does with a bad blowing storm. So who knows, because I'm planning on that, it probably won't happen. But we're going to wait around and see. Now, just as a side note here, knowing that we have a big storm coming, something that I could do to up my chances of this working correctly is lower my tarp. So I've got a good bit of headroom between my hammock and the tarp. If I lower that, then I will have more coverage on the bottom of my tarp, and I can also bring the tarp guy outs closer together, get more pitch, and that way it would not allow the rain to blow up under as much. So these are just a few things that you could do to upgrade your shelter if a storm's about to hit. So just something to think about. So after laying here for a few minutes, I decided to go ahead and try re-guying out the tarp. And I pulled the guy outs a little further out, and I also added the center guy out. I think that's going to help me because I was getting a little rain blowing under. So we're going to try it this way, and if this way doesn't work, I'll go ahead and drop that ridge line and re-guy it out and see if that helps. That definitely has seemed to help. The rain is getting a little heavier now, and not really getting any rain blowing in under here on me. If we had more wind, which we may end up with, if we had more wind, I think dropping that ridge line would be a good solution. So far I'm pretty happy with this though. Changing those guy outs made a world of difference. It's nice and well, it's not dry under here because it was already wet when we got started, but it's not getting any rain blowing back under here on me. The ends of my hammock aren't getting wet. This hammock setup is actually really nice. I was a little worried about it because I'm used to having my bigger tarps, my, you know, DD 3x3 and things like that have a lot more coverage. But I'm actually pretty surprised at how well this thing is designed to cover just what it needs to cover. So, like I said, if it got any worse or any more wind, I would drop it a little bit and get a little more protection, but just moving those guy outs really made a big difference. It's hard to beat a rainy day under a tarp. It really is. Alright guys, so final thoughts. Is it really that important to make sure that everything is put away in a particular order? I believe so, yes. And your pack should be packed in a particular order also. In this scenario, everything in my hammock stuff sack was stuffed in where my tarp could be pulled out first, allowing me to dry my area in first and have a dry place to work on everything else as I'm getting my camp set up if need be. You may not be using a hammock. You may be using a tarp shelter or a tent or what have you. Make sure that you test your gear and you know that you can set your area up and dry it in before you have to pull everything else out of your pack. I think it's pretty important, and I think you should too. I want you guys to get out there and have some fun. I want you to test your gear. I want to make sure that you can set it up in the correct order. I want you to be safe out there, but I also want you to stay wild. Appreciate you guys watching. I'll see you next time.